Okay, we are going to demonstrate for you how to do the upside down drawing exercise. You're going to be receiving a drawing, and it's going to be probably in bits and pieces, and these images that you'll be receiving on your computer screen will be either about 1 inch or ½ an inch of the image you are to draw, and little by little you're going to receive pieces of these images and draw them a little bit at a time, putting each of the images together. So first I thought I would show you kind of how to get started. First off, pay attention to not what you are drawing, because you don't want to think about the symbols. You don't want to try to label or identify what you're drawing, because the left side of the brain will try to create weird primitive symbols. So what you want to do first is let your right brain just see the lines. Which ones are vertical? Which ones lean a little bit? Look at some that you might think are lying down. Well, this one that's lying down isn't perfectly flat like the edge of your paper. It's actually got a little bit of an angle to it. This one's angling down slightly. It's not perfectly horizontal like the edges of your paper are. So as you're drawing the lines, pay attention to what direction they're going in, and also look at the shapes. Like for instance, this is not a square or a rectangle. It doesn't have right angles. You're going to see that two sides slant in. You're going to see that this side is narrower and this side is wider. So pay attention to those things as you draw them. So let me give you an example. We'll show you a couple first. Let's look at this line. This line right here is vertical. It's straight up and down. I can even take my pencil and say, yep, it sure is. It's vertical compared to this. So I'm going to just start drawing the line, and I've got it. Very good. This shape is really close to this one, so I draw it. It scoots away from the edge. I see that. It scoots away from the edge. It comes over. It kind of slides, it kind of curves in this way as it comes down. Sometimes it's a good idea as you're drawing to kind of just move your pencil above the lines to kind of get an idea. Now look, there's another vertical line. It's really short, and so it's about right here. And you're just making your best guess. On this line, one good trick is to take your pencil and say, okay, that's the kind of angle it's going to make. That's a good little trick to use. It kind of helps you get the idea of the angle. This line seems to be parallel to it. You can check it with your pencil just to see, and it is. And so we make that line parallel. And then we keep on going. There's a little shape right here. And again, you can check the angle if you want to. This shape is parallel to it, at least it seems to be. So we'll draw it. There's a line here that seems to be pretty vertical. So we draw it up. Again, you can check your pencil. This one is kind of angling a little to the side. This line's angling this way. Again, you don't have to use your pencil. You can eyeball it, but sometimes just taking your pencil and checking some things out. Okay, notice that this line and this line don't line up exactly. This one comes out past it. So I come up, I make a narrow line here. This is angling in. I can even take my pencil and visualize that if I need to. That angles, this angles, and I'm just drawing the shapes that I see. I don't worry about what it is that I'm drawing. I just draw what I see as I see it, make the best guess as I can. That's a shorter one. This is a much longer one. So I'm going to go about twice as long. So I come over. It's really skinny here. It moves a little further away. It goes up at an angle, comes over, and I got it. And if you're looking at your computer screen, it won't be quite the same. There's one here, and it's angling downward. So I find where it hits here, and I start angling it downward. I pay attention to the shape of the space a little bit. It's got a little bit of a bump here, and it kind of comes down and it ends a little early. Over here there's a line, so I draw it, come in, got it. There's a line here, and it looks like it's past this point, so probably about here we go. Got it. It's even with the rest of these. I want to try to keep it even best as I can, and I come up at an angle. And again, you can take your pencil and check it. So I have a couple more lines to make. There's some space that skips, so I skip some space, make my best guess. I think that's pretty good. This one's over here. It curves out, comes up, and then I've got this little straight line right here. And you don't need to shade this. This is where like the photocopy machine it was like getting some of the background. This is not part of the image, but if you're bored and you want to shade that, you can. Now you've got your first strip done. So now you're going to do your second one. Now sometimes when people do this, they think that these are two separate images. Well, this next strip is a continuation of these lines here. So this line connects with this line. So I would just come on down and say, okay, I can even take my finger on the computer screen and I can come down and move over and just make my best guess and make it about the same. If it helps you, you can put a little line where you ended your previous drawing, if that helps you kind of get the sizes right, but I mean, you don't have to do that. This line is a continuation of this line right here. So it curves on in, comes on over, got it. let's see, this line and this line, they meet, they collide. So I come on down, and now I'm going to focus on getting this shape and this shape, which doesn't quite meet. I got a feeling it's going to keep on going, but I'm just going to end it right here. This line is this line, and notice it's skinnier here and wider here. So when I draw it, I might come in at a bit of an angle. This line is a continuation of this little one I made here, so I pretend like it would go through it. Draw it. This little line right here at the bottom, get it in, but you got to be careful. You don't want to forget this little skinny one here. I think actually this line, yep, this line is about right here. Because I need to look at, actually I need to look at my little line. It's about right here. Come on in, over, and just do the best job that you can. I'll get rid and erase that. All right. Let's see. I think that this line continues on over. Yep. Right here. It comes on over and hits here. I think that this line and this line is where it connects. So I come on in, curve it, come down. And one thing that helps is notice where this is related to these. So you can come on over and say, okay, that's how far I need to go. I need to stop and come up. Then after I get that line in, I'm going to create this curve and this curve and come on over and down. This line will come on in. Right here, this is really close to that one. It's barely going to go beneath this line, barely. This makes a little shape. It's almost not exactly a triangle, but kind of. And there's a little line here. And I only have a couple more lines left to make. I think that this line is a continuation of this one, so I'll take it on over. I'll take this line on up some, and then this line I'm pretty sure is a continuation of this one. So this is curving in, so I'm going to curve that one in. It's going to curve back out. I curve it out, it curves in, and then I've got a little line here, and then this line just keeps on coming down straight like that one. And that's how you would do the drawings step by step, bit by bit, piece by piece, fitting them together to create what will eventually be an upside down drawing. Now, a couple of things to remember. Do not take this drawing and turn it right side up, because if you do, the left brain is going to try to start figuring out what it is. And as you draw it more and more, your left brain will recognize some parts, and it will try to identify what it is you're drawing. But don't let it, because what we want to do is we want to draw the lines and curves we see. We don't want our left brain to label what it is we're drawing. We want our right brain to draw the curves and lines and shapes we see, because then it'll be more accurate, whereas the left brain would reduce the symbols even simpler, and it would not look nearly as good or as detailed or nearly as close to the original drawing as we can. So that's what you'll be doing. You'll be doing it in inches or half-inch little segments. Do the best you can. Remember, don't turn it right side up until you're totally finished. Best wishes and happy drawing.